everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Fourtress of a podcast about movies, TV shows, video games, and lots of pop culture and nerd things. My name is Oscar. I'll be one of your hosts today, and with me, per usual, we got Brian, also known as the Beard, and New Reliable, and the Spider-Man villain, Mr. Negative on a Dragon Ball Z Redemption arc, and we got Devin, also known as the Brains, and Mr. Nowhere.
I can be Beard too at the moment.
You could also be the Beard, but also for now we'll still be calling. I forgot about this past week, but I have to bring it back. He's also the guy who still hasn't seen Blue Beetle.
Oh, it's streaming now. You gotta see it.
I think it's out of theaters now. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on streaming services
anymore. If I watch it on streaming one night, will I dodge the allegations?
Yeah, yeah, the allegations.
Okay. It doesn't help. It doesn't help it monetarily, but I will. I will say, hey, good job, DC.
Yeah, it's the three of us listeners. We hanging out, we chilling. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. How you guys doing for one thing before we hop in?
Oh, just a normal day, like every day.
Yeah, it's getting colder, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Oh God, why are you so white?
This might be the whitest thing about me. The cold.
You like some cold? For it.
It doesn't help that you said this might be the whitest thing about me after we just talked about you not being Blue Beetle. But anyways, we'll let that one go. We'll let it slide. We're gonna ride it out, and then we're gonna move into our first segment of the week, listeners.
News talk.
First piece of news. Fucking Microsoft. My goodness. So last week, a shit ton. Microsoft had like its biggest leak in its history. A bunch of shit came out from a bunch of Xbox court documents from the whole FTC and their all this shit that just, man, what a debauchery.
All this just so I can get fucking Diablo 4 on Game Pass. Is it worth it anymore? I'm not sure.
It's fucking hilarious. Honestly, when I saw a lot of these, I was like, this is what I don't really care about most of these things, but there were some little nuggets of interest in there. One of them being that Phil Spencer really wants to buy Nintendo. And I was like, wow, the balls.
The balls to think that you can do that they would be interested in having you do that. Considering how poorly Microsoft products, like specifically Xbox, sells terribly in the Japanese market. So why do you, which I guess it's a valid reason why they'd want to corner the Japanese market by buying Nintendo. But like, no friend. We're not doing that.
It's also just like, Nintendo would have to be in the gutter. Like, Nintendo couldn't be higher than it is now. What makes you think they're like, yeah, buy us?
I don't know what their net worth is, because Activision being worth $62 billion was a surprising number to me. I guess Call of Duty really be carrying the shit out of that company, but that's such a crazy number.
When I looked it up for Nintendo, and I don't know if this was the actual Nintendo, but I think it was like $7 trillion.
What?
Which I was like, is this right? Is this real?
That cannot be right.
Because then I looked Microsoft up, and Microsoft's worth is like $4 trillion. So I was like, how could you buy? I'm very confused.
They're gonna buy your ass. Like, what do you mean?
No, wait. Those numbers are so.
Maybe they're trying to do something specifically with gaming or something like that, which still sounds like it'd be an exorbitant amount. So that's actually kind of wild that they even think
but
that's.
Yeah, Microsoft doesn't just do games though. That's like just one little piece of what they do.
Them being $4 trillion would make sense, but like, I mean, I guess Nintendo does a lot of stuff too.
I don't know though. Yeah, so I was like, either way, I don't see a world where I would want Microsoft to own Nintendo.
That's a monopoly. There would no way that I could actually have it.
I don't.
We're struggling with Blizzard right now. Blizzard's got 4 games, and we're struggling with Blizzard. So imagine fucking Nintendo.
Right.
That's audacity, man. That's the audacity of like CEO shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll buy them.
Yeah.
They had real talks. I'm pretty sure they sent emails, and that was like a whole thing.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Insanity. Other stuff that kind of leaked out. Well, a lot of Bethesda stuff. Obviously, The Elder Scrolls 6 will be an Xbox console exclusive, which to no one's surprise, except the fact that they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna keep it around." Fucking everyone's a fucking liar.
Right. I mean, it's kind of funny though, because there was some issues with like Oblivion and Skyrim coming out on PlayStation, because that was back when PlayStation used like different like just computing parts. So I remember Skyrim being kind of shitty on PlayStation 3. So this might be the best that Elder Scrolls might be without PlayStation to worry about. I hate to be that person, but I have a PC. It doesn't matter to me. I'll play it.
Right. No,
is it going to be Game Pass exclusive or Xbox exclusive?
Probably Game. It's going to be on PC. Microsoft, everything that comes out on Microsoft right now is on PC usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got to.
That and apparently Fallout 3 and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion are getting remastered.
Let's fucking go, baby. The last time they made a good video game.
Wait, so how many re-releases of Skyrim is this going to be now?
I mean...
Well, this isn't Skyrim. This is Oblivion. Oblivion
Oh,
hasn't gotten a
Oblivion.
remake. Oblivion needed a remake. That game is fucking hideous.
Yeah, that
That's
game's
awful.
ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there will be another Skyrim remake. Let's be honest, they will do it anyways.
I was about to say, when's the next refrigerator coming out? I'm sure they'll put it on that.
Right.
I'm excited about that, just as a person that loves both of those games pretty dearly. Not
Yeah.
many people were super into Oblivion. I still loved it,
Yeah.
but Fallout 3 is a very fun game.
Man, I went back and tried to play Oblivion once after Skyrim came out, and it was very hard to do.
Listen, Patrick Stewart gives an amazing performance. Everything past that is garbage.
Quickly quit and just played Skyrim instead. But
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, fair enough. And then also a Red Dead Redemption 2 might get a next gen update, which that's pretty cool because that game is genuinely phenomenal.
I will play it someday.
You should. It's a very good game. I guess I'm not surprised it hasn't taken this long. Rockstar, they dipped their toe in the whole remastered pool and it didn't go well, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they needed to take a second to change some things around.
Yeah. There's some other stuff, and then like this is one last kind of thing is that Xbox really underestimated Baldur's Gate 3, which is why they dropped the ball on that shit. And,
Everyone
yeah,
everyone underestimated Baldur's Gate 3, which is so funny. Larian Studios is definitely, they deserve their flowers, but the thing is that they've definitely been a very niche gaming studio, because like Baldur's Gate, I haven't played it yet, but just knowing Divinity Original Sin 2, that's a crunchy fucking game. So I'm really surprised it's gotten, like, it reminds me of like Elden Ring a little bit, that it's like a very niche type of game somehow amassed a massive audience outside of like the niche. Because
right.
yeah, I wouldn't expect a normal person to like pick up Dark Souls and be like, I'm having a lot of fun. I can't wait to keep playing this game. And Baldur's Gate's like that same feeling where it's like, yeah, I can't wait to play more of this game that I don't understand any of the systems or what's going on or even how to roll a die. Like, what the fuck's going on here? I don't know. I love to see it. I think Divinity Original Sin 2 was very good. And Baldur's Gate apparently is the best game ever. So, good
Right.
for them.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the biggest stuff. There's a bunch of other shit about like potential future Xboxes coming out and lots of stuff.
Did want to note, no Halo information. Very interesting. Very
Good.
interesting.
And they're talking about shit till 2028.
And
so,
no Halo information. That is a little. I know it's mostly Bethesda focused, but like,
right.
you have another studio that's a AAA studio there that they're got to make another game eventually,
nah, that's okay.
or maybe not.
Maybe
Or
best to
maybe
let that
not.
be. Just let that be. Let the Master Chief ride.
It sucks because Halo's in its best space that's like been so far. Like as far as that game, they're having a No Man's Sky situation. It's just unfortunate that nobody wants to play anymore because they
Are
waited
they?
too long.
Is it No Man's Sky? Like is the multiplayer better now?
Yeah, as far as like content coming
Oh.
out, they've added like I think it was like 50 new maps in the past year,
Holy
something crazy like that, amongst like a bunch of different like game types and stuff. Like they've really been focused and like putting their heads down and focusing on making content, which I appreciate. But it's just too little, too late. It's all that for 25,000 concurrent players. Like,
Man, the whole system is broken because like that happens with every game where it's playable a few years later, but by that point everybody's so sour that the game doesn't get the credit it deserves for being a good game. It's like then stop releasing it early.
and that is exactly what has happened. That is 100% what has happened. It's right now. Titanfall 2 has gotten a weird resurgence. A game that came out in like 2017. That currently has more concurrent players on it than Halo does currently.
That sucks.
It's a struggle, but we push through.
yeah. Yikes. Yikes.
Disappointing.
Other good news, or I guess good news. This leak was probably bad news for Microsoft, but good news for them. Apparently, finally, they'll get their fucking Activision deal cleared in Europe, and they'll be happy about it. So we knew it was gonna happen. Here we go. Yay!
Right.
Congratulations.
Is it a good thing?
Rich people get richer.
I'm still not really sure if this is actually going to be positive for us because we know monopolies are always going to ruin innovation. However, I am biased because I do like my games being free $99 or $10 a month.
That's fair.
So if I could play World of Warcraft again and not have to pay a $15 a month subscription fee because it's on Game Pass, that's a win for me. You know, like,
How much
Fair
corporate evil am I willing to tolerate?
enough that gives me free video
The
games.
game
It's
is
like a
free.
moral battle in your head.
Well, okay, I guess I can.
Listen,
slide
Payday
them
3
off.
just came out. Do I give a fuck about Payday 3? No. Is it on Game Pass? Yes. So I'm probably going to play it. Would I play it otherwise? Absolutely not. Absolutely
Right.
not. So it's a win-win for me. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
That is funny. All right, let's move into a very quick trailer park segment. So let's go.
Mom Spaghetti.
Oh. I was so focused on how I feel or don't feel about this trailer that I forgot to do this trailer.
It's okay. Wait, I can interject the broken glass. Old lighters.
One trailer, listeners. It's for the Hunger Games, the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's coming out this year, which I honestly kind of forgot about. I will say this trailer looks good. I genuinely kind of was excited after seeing this, even though I'm like, it's a prequel, whatever. We somewhat know it's gonna happen, but it looks good though. Like production wise and like story wise, it looks entertaining.
Yeah,
It's more entertaining than the last 2 Hunger Games.
and that's what I was gonna say. People that know me know that I've been hurt. I've been soured by the Hunger Games franchise as someone that had never read or like watched any of the movies or anything. So long story short, I saw the first movie, or saw like the first 2 movies, like maybe a week before the 3rd movie came out, and I was fucking hype. I was like, this franchise fucking slaps. This shit is awesome. I cannot wait. I got a day 1. We went and saw it that Thursday night that it fucking came out because I was so excited to see that. I fell asleep in that fucking movie. It was so goddamn boring.
Oh my god, part 1 of part 3?
It's pretty boring.
So fucking trash.
Terrible.
To the point that I never even saw the 4th one. Still to this day, I haven't seen it. It's on my list now for my weekly movie.
Me neither.
Honestly,
Me neither. I never
it's
saw the 4th one.
not that much better.
Oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah.
I will say, like, there's more that they do in it, at least, but it's still just like, ooh, these are both of these. And I don't even think it's the movie's fault. I think because from everything I've heard, I haven't read those books, but everyone I've heard from say that 3rd book is the weakest of the 3. So
Yeah,
I
for
also
sure.
think it's a source material thing, but yeah, man, oof.
Yeah,
Those last 2 movies were rough.
So I hate being like even a little bit excited about this because I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
They're doing another tournament, right? Because that's the whole fun of the Hunger Games. It's like, it's such a good, anime dark tournament kind of like, thing. So that's why it's compelling. And I think that's what this is getting back to, right?
Yeah. Which, another reminder, everybody should watch 2000 movie Battle Royale. It's a Japanese movie about tournament. It's much better than Hunger Games. Watch that instead.
Yes, very true.
But
Very
listen,
true.
we love. Why is it every anime the tournament arc is the best arc? It's everything we watch. We want tournaments. All right, if they ever do Secret Wars in Marvel, that shit will be the coolest, like top level stuff if they end up doing it.
Because it cuts all the crap. Like you get straight to it, man. You just get straight to it.
Fighting. We're here for the fights. Show me something fun. Show me something cool.
It's almost like it's gonna lead perfectly into our main topic in a couple seconds.
Let's go, baby.
So yeah, this movie, cool. We'll see it, or I might see it. If I hear it's good, I might actually go check it out in theaters. But we'll see.
I'll definitely look at the reviews first and then decide from there.
Yeah,
I will add it to my list on a streaming service and maybe get to it someday.
Devin, every movie that you see before you see Blue Beetle, we're gonna tally up, and that's gonna be a thing.
For every white man in any movie that you watch, we're gonna count that against you.
For every movie that I watch that's 1% more racist that I'm labeled.
Yeah, that's gonna.
No, each percentage point is per white man. That's the main cast of the movie.
Yeah.
Damn it.
So this one, honestly, you get like half a point because the lead actor, she's brown, but he's white, so you get like half a point if you see this before Blue Beetle.
All right, that's fair.
All right. That is the trailer park, which means that is the news, listeners and guys. Shall we now move into our main topic of the week?
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
But first, we're trapped in another fortress. This is a fortress full of lots of clickety clacklings of lightsabers. Lots of zooms. Yeah. Inspired by a lack of an idea and very quick thinking on Devin and all of our parts. Because we were in the fortress of
best Star Wars battles.
Yes, the best Star Wars battles.
Or fights, I guess. We're
style.
looking more around lightsabers and not so much like war shit.
Yes. Listeners, we are doing another tournament style bracket. But of Star Wars fights. Specifically, we had to make this choice because we wouldn't be able to devise and figure them out if we didn't do this. So it's only lightsaber battles. So sorry, Mandalorian shit. Sorry, any droid stuff. That does not count. We're not counting that. That could be a future thing. But for now, it's lightsaber on lightsaber fight.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped. To be fair, this is going to show everybody. There are some very obvious omissions of what's not here. And there's a very good fucking reason for that. Okay?
What?
Yes.
No way.
So first and foremost, spoilers for like just all of Star Wars. Just like it's all on the table.
Well, hey, no spoilers for the sequel trilogy because they ain't even here, bitch.
Don't spoil the bracket, Devin. But
Ray who?
yeah, no. To no one's surprise, no sequel fight made the bracket. Just we're gonna say it right now. Be mad about it. We're sorry.
Oh
but
no!
It turns out swinging your lightsaber like a baseball bat is really fucking lame and not interesting to watch. I don't know.
It's not very fun. It's not very interesting. Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry.
Agreed.
Sorry.
Unacceptable. Inexcusable.
So yeah, spoilers for all that. I don't know if there'll be specific time codes for other things. It might just be a big, broad spoilers for all of Star Wars. Just be aware. And also, want to make specific that these are fights that move. So sorry, comic book and book fights. These are fights that we can visually see move with our eyes.
I'm not using my imagination. Yeah, fuck this.
Yeah.
I bet that comic book fight went really hard in your mind, but it didn't for me.
But so it's movies and TV. Also non-canon stuff counts. So like we'll get to it, but like it's not just canon Star Wars stuff, just to be clear. Yeah. Brian, you are the master of the bracket right now. You want to hit us up with the first fight?
For the first round of this tournament, we have Ahsoka versus Darth Maul. And what is this? Clone Wars? Clone Wars?
Yeah.
And then we have Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan show. A show that I very much loved. It was my favorite.
Look, this one's pretty easy for me. It's obvious. It's Obi-Wan v. Vader for me.
Really?
Easy.
Oh yeah, you guys. I think y'all's hate on that. Just the taking the fight itself. I think y'all's hate because go back and listen to our episode on that. We were freaking out about the fight.
I don't know that I was.
We were freaking out about that fight.
I'm a little right now.
The moment that Obi-Wan used the Force and just chucked a bunch of rocks at Darth Vader.
Yeah, but for me, that's what I remember of that being very like CGI and like kind of unexceptional. That's like that part of the fight.
I mean, it is look a little over CGI-ness, but I think personally, like I think that fight is better just because it's the rematch, and I think for the most part, I think it's a good fight.
I mean, I think the staring down before the fight is very badass, very samurai. You know.
I mean, you get the whole moment where Obi-Wan cuts off half of Vader's face. You get the Anakin underneath, like. Up until that point, we had been waiting for someone to twirl a goddamn lightsaber for so fucking long. And so, look, it's 1,000% nostalgia is channeling through me right now. But that's what adds to the fight for me. So seeing Obi-Wan come back and then we get to see them go toe to toe and not as the oldest men in the world in A New Hope. I dug that.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's a good point, Brian.
I'm gonna do a compliment sandwich here because I'm trying to I'm on my redemption arc. I'm trying to do better here. I will say the lightsabers in that fight do look really cool amongst the darkness with the way that they really show the blue and the red so hard on each other's faces. I think that's a really cool thing that they kind of added there.
Very true.
I do think as far as new school, well, let me that's my other part of the sandwich. Let me not do the double meat. I do think that it looked like kind of like shit in other parts because it is done in, here's our CG world that we made. As Devin said, it looks like the same place that Avatar Aang killed Fire Lord Ozai and took away his power. So it's like one of those things like, oh, we know we're about to have a big CGI moment because we put this in the middle of fucking nowhere. I hate that. I hate that so much.
That's the worst part.
Yes, I hate that. That being said, I do think as far as new school choreography goes, with Star Wars, I think this is some of the best. Star Wars has had some tough issues with Disney choreography, I feel like, noticeably, at least in my opinion.
Yeah. Agreed.
This one felt like it was very like haphazard, it was very intense. There was a lot of anger in it. I think they did that well.
Yeah.
That being said, I think I like Ahsoka and Darth Vader more. I think it's more interesting to me. There's something about the animation that just makes the movements cleaner and makes the fight look more interesting to me personally.
This is the Ahsoka Darth Maul.
Oh, sorry, correct? Darth Maul. I'm thinking of Darth Maul. Yeah.
In Clone Wars, right?
Ahsoka so yeah, this was like the last few episodes of the Clone Wars series.
I like that one more too. This is the one where he has his legs. I like this one.
Yeah, and like for me, this is what this comes down to. Also, I have a few notes on the Obi-Wan Darth Vader fight. I have no notes on the Darth Maul Ahsoka fight from Clone Wars. It was like such a cool way to end that show. The choreography, I think I saw somewhere like the mocap. They did like special stuff.
It was the first time they mocapped the fight. Yeah,
dude.
In animation.
And the choreo was so cool. Like that whole fight, and it was like a big moment for Ahsoka. Like her first, like. Definitely like showing her progression and how she aged. And I love that it was happening like this at the same time as the fall of the Jedi and stuff. So no notes for that fight. It was so incredible. So for that reason, for the only reason of the detractions from the Darth Vader Obi-Wan fight, I'm also going to Ahsoka Darth Maul.
I pulled both back up. The Ahsoka fight's fucking cool. Ahsoka fight's fucking cool.
No, it definitely is.
I get definitely have a strong nostalgia for Obi-Wan. I think that's why I treated it kindly in the beginning until I thought about it. But yeah, I really don't. Even the storyline around that fight, I just don't really fuck with very heavy. And then there's just some of that stuff. That's
fair enough.
Not for me.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that means what? Ahsoka Maul wins?
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah.
Animated gets a victory.
As it should. The second round is going to be the Ronin versus the Bandit from Star Wars Visions against Deceived from Star Wars The Old Republic.
This is so hard.
There's some heavy hitters we got there.
Oh, this is hard. Listen, on principle, it's hard to vote against anything from the KOTOR trailers because they are just they are the peak of what every Star Wars fight should be, is what the KOTOR trailers are. So it's very hard to vote against them. However, that Ronin versus the Bandit,
it's pretty dope.
I had never seen anything like that. And the art style, the choreo, like the cool, like she had like a spinny,
the umbrella lightsaber she whips out.
Was wild. And the fact that they're like, "Oh, you're a Jedi," he's like, "Nah," and then he lights red. He's like, "I'm a Ronin." Big, like, oh man, tough.
This is tough. All right, so first, I don't know, listeners, if you don't know what the Old Republic trailers we're talking about right now, yes, we included them. Sorry if you,
It's from critically acclaimed video game Star Wars: The Old Republic, the massively multiplayer online game that came out in like 2011. I can't remember, something like that.
This happened in college where I had some friends that were like big Star Wars fans, big fans of Clone Wars, right? And I was like, oh, then you know, I'm sure you've seen the KOTOR trailers. They're like, no, I haven't seen it. Man, I would show people this.
They would carry around on a hard drive.
I'm like a missionary. Okay, you got like anytime that there's a Star Wars fan that has not seen these trailers, and it's like 15 minutes total, the three of them. But like, good Lord, every Star Wars fan should be well aware of these because it is like the best fighting ever. So cool.
It's kind of like I'd like CGI trailers just for a lot of video games. I think a lot of them should go into making a real movie. Blizzard's definitely one of those companies that do that, but it's just like that is what I think of when I think of Star Wars. Is that shit right there? You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the prequel syndrome in us. That's us.
I mean,
but that's what we should, like, we talk about that, right? I mean, like, you know, I think part of the reason that Marvel is so good is because they thought about the choreography. It's very obvious in stories where they think about it and where they don't. And like, when it's good and it's well thought out and well planned, that's why those things stick with you. The reason none of the sequels are here is because they didn't fucking think about the choreography at all, apparently. Like, it looks like they didn't.
I think it's that, and I do think one point against that is the sense that, and we talked about this, is that it's unfortunate that it makes sense in the story that the motherfuckers didn't train. They don't know how to fucking do flips. It's just boring.
Yes, it's fucking boring. Yeah.
But like I don't care if they haven't. Just and especially by the third one, there's no excuse by the ones in Rise of Skywalker. There's no excuse by that.
And I don't need fucking flips. You don't got to do no fucking Yoda shit. But at the same time, it's like, you could probably learn how to handle a saber pretty quickly. You know what I mean?
You know how to twirl your wrist,
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's as much as we'll talk about them sequels probably today.
Yeah, they do not deserve to be mentioned.
That being said, this is tough because I think Deceived is probably my favorite of those three. I mean, I think story-wise, the Sith winning at the end of that, the Master dying, but also just the choreography is so fucking brilliant.
You feel so much in that trailer so quickly.
And like when the jump ship like door opens and then all those red lightsabers.
It's just like 50 of them.
So cool. It's like we've always wanted to see a battle, like a straight up battle between Jedi and Sith, like the medieval battle.
Yeah, it gives us that little moment from like same thing with Attack of the Clones when all the Jedi form up, except they're just killing droids, so it's not as fun. But it's that moment where it's like, holy shit, this is what we want. And there's one other highlight moment is when the Sith Lord chucks his lightsaber, the Jedi jumps over it, but then the Sith Lord force pushes him back in midair. I was like, that was badass.
Oh, God, see, they just thought about the stuff we want to see.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely.
Whoever did the blocking for that video, I don't know why they didn't just go straight to them whenever they're doing any new Star Wars project. Just like, hey, can you please give us 10 minutes of a fight? Like,
yeah.
Anyway,
it sucks because I really like the Ronin one, and I really like the art style. I think it's really interesting, and then it's based around something that's also just so clean with the deceived cinematic. Deceived is such a clean, just well made, high
Mhm.
produced.
This is
I
tough.
think Ronan the Bandit was definitely the best, and I think that's why it was episode 1 or 2 of the Visions season 1, but it was definitely the best Visions thing so far. I think
It was
among
definitely
the
up
top.
there. Yeah,
It's
Definitely
up
season
there.
1.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
Oh,
season
yeah.
both seasons, but
I'm a vote for it. I'm a vote for it personally. I think that it's something different and something interesting, and we don't get to see that often enough. You know.
No, it's fair. That is totally fair. I'm going with the other one.
oh god.
I gotta go with the Old Republic trailer for this
That's-
one.
I'm not
I
mad.
no.
I would not be mad at either of them winning. You know what I mean?
If Deceived makes us
Yeah.
through this, it's going all the way to the final. Yeah, this is a heavyweight fight, man.
This is yeah.
Wow.
What you got, Devin?
Damn.
This is Devin's worst nightmare.
It is. Honestly, all right. Listen, the other KOTOR ones are also going to be in the mix later. So for the sake of the bracket, I'm going to go for Ronan and the Bandit.
You son of a bitch.
just so it can be something a little different for the next round. Because listen, the other two KOTOR ones automatic first round.
Devin just doesn't want to have to choose between them when they go head to head. That's what he's trying to do.
I don't.
This motherfucker over here.
Man, this is flat out cheating.
This motherfucker.
Wait, I should change my vote.
All right. It's too late. It's in the books.
So that's
Ronan
solidified.
moves
believe I did it.
forward.
he's
did I
already
do?
upset. What have I
What did I
done?
do?
He sounds like Anakin after he killed Mace Windu. What have I done?
What have I done? My son, my boy. All right, next round. We're not even gonna sit on it. We're not gonna be sad. We're gonna
let's
keep moving
go.
on,
Yeah,
boys.
let's go.
We got
We gotta
Yoda versus Sidious in Revenge of the Sith, and Dooku versus Yoda. 2 Yoda fights.
Oh shit!
And Attack of the Clones.
Oh, that's funny.
Hmm.
Oh,
This is easily. We already talked about this a
Yoda.
little bit off air. I'm gonna say Yoda versus Dooku. I think Sidious
Yeah.
Yoda was a little bit too much CGI for me. We're just turning into 2 old men fucking flipping around really fast,
Agreed,
and I didn't fuck
agreed.
with that at all.
Yeah, this is easy for me. It's Dooku versus Yoda because and especially with Yoda versus Sidious, you know what Yoda can do at that point. Dooku versus Yoda, he gets off that plane. He walks in the room and he's got his little cane going, and then the camera starts like going to the side, and he force pulls a little lightsaber.
I mean,
you didn't even know Yoda had a lightsaber.
the surprise factor was
And he just like he's the only character ever to like just eat electricity. Like he tries the electricity shit on him. Dooku tries the the little Sith stuff. I mean, usually that is really destructive to everybody it touches. Man, Yoda just straight up puts his hand up and just dissipates it.
He got that
Like it's
force
nothing.
defense at level 5.
Yeah.
And he's
Right,
talking
right.
smack the whole time. He's like, "Man, you still have a lot to learn." Like, damn, you thought that would work? I got bad news.
I mean,
for you.
and Yoda even goes to the point where he calls him my old Padawan to Dooku.
yeah,
He
just
calls
put him in
this
his place.
900-year-old man his old Padawan.
said,
He's like,
Sit down.
Good try, little
Yeah.
tyke. Good job, Junior.
exactly.
Sit
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
And then, so after all that, and the music, the way the music hits when he's pulling his lightsaber out, and then he just starts,
Yeah.
and then out of nowhere, just starts flipping around the room like a freaking, like a kid on a Coca-Cola, just like beep, 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 beep. Dooku did not know what to do.
This is the only pushback I would have on that is that the CG on Christopher Lee is pretty egregious.
Yes.
Where it's just
True.
Christopher Lee's floating CG head. George Lucas just like got a dude in a green suit holding a tennis ball, and he just waved it around in the air, and the other dude just swung near it over and
Yeah.
over again.
That's true.
And so that's the only hiccup because I think that CG is worse than the Sidious Yoda fight in Revenge of the Sith. But I think that if we're going lightsaber-y stuff, I think there's more lightsaber stuff with Yoda
I think
versus
it's
Dooku than there is Sidious
cooler.
and Dooku.
Yeah, it turns a
Yeah.
lot into
Or
just
Sidious
throwing
and Yoda.
discs at each other.
Yeah,
And then
just throw. Yeah.
when they do fight, I mean, it was always bad whenever they had the old people try to fight because Sidious always had a stupid
Yeah.
look on his face too when he was swinging around his lightsaber that used to make me mad. Where he just
Yeah.
like this. I hate
Yeah.
this. This looks awful.
I'll probably go Yoda Dooku as well, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the surprise factor you said. I think that's a really good tidbit as well. I think that's really interesting. That it's like, oh shit, Yoda fucks. Let's go.
yeah. and kind of like saving the other two because like Obi-Wan and Anakin just got wiped by Dooku, and then he kind of saves the day a little bit. So
Right. Yeah.
I love that fight. That's one of my favorite ones.
As ridiculous as it is, yeah. Yeah.
Boom. There we go. Let's go into the next round. And then after that, Duke will be fighting everybody. Jesus Christ. We got Yaddle versus Dooku in Tales of the Jedi, and then Ahsoka versus Darth Vader in
Rebels. Star Wars Rebels.
In Rebels?
Ooh.
If Yaddle versus Dooku won this one, and B, which one do you like more, Yaddle or Yoda?
It's gonna be Yaddle versus
I think Ahsoka versus Darth Vader is just a better choreographed fight, in my opinion. We talked a little bit about how like Yaddle there's a whole storyline around that I think is really interesting, that she's like basically sacrificing herself for these people that she's trying to protect. We get to learn what the fuck happens to Yaddle because she disappeared and we didn't give a fuck about that.
For 20 years, we had no idea what the fuck happened to Yaddle.
So I think that's really cool. But if I'm going just on my like straight anime boy heart, I like the Darth Vader and Ahsoka. I mean, that is, Padawan and Master fighting each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's big.
And that gave us the first moment of Vader getting half his helmet slashed off before Obi-Wan did it in that show years later.
That man's got it. You get them mass produced. Give me another helmet.
Right, yeah. And Ahsoka sees Anakin underneath for the first time and realizes, oh shit, oh fuck.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though the stakes in the Yaddle Dooku fight are high, the Ahsoka Vader ones, those are hard to beat in terms of like real life stakes and then character stakes. Yeah, I would probably vote with that one as well.
And to be fair to the Yaddle Dooku fight, that is a very cool way they set that up and everything, of like how Qui-Gon's death is really what turned him to the dark side.
Yeah,
and his kind of just discontentment with the Jedi as a whole, and just just kind of fed up with the BS. I mean, you couldn't blame him in that moment.
It's so fucking valid. They need to... Sorry, I'm about to go on a whole rant. I wish they would explore that kind of stuff more, that the Jedi are not perfect.
Too.
And then things like that. Like, that's a very valid reason to be like, yeah, fuck these idiots. They don't do anything.
Oh, yeah.
My best friend just died. This shit sucks. Like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point, is that the Jedi got too political and they fucked up.
Yeah.
It'd be cool to see, a story eventually take it, hey, maybe the Jedi and the Sith is too binary of looking at this world. Maybe you just feel your emotions and you control them. But I would love to see that.
What I was hoping Ahsoka was gonna be, but fucking it's not.
I thought the sequels would do that too, but
no,
just kidding.
It's all a cycle. Though,
blue is good, red is bad. She gets yellow because that's cool. The end.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, for me, Ahsoka, Darth Vader, easy.
Yeah.
Cool. This one, I don't know how y'all gonna vote about this one. You said you're gonna fight for this. We got Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi. And then we got Ahsoka versus Anakin from the Ahsoka show most recently.
Which, very much spoilers, since those are the most recent spoilers, listeners. Yeah, just skip this because we got spoiled episode 5 of Ahsoka.
Oops.
Yeah.
Are we taking into account the whole time that they're like talking stuff and going through like our child form and stuff too? Or are we doing
I think so. I think that whole thing is the fight. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think from beginning to end, that whole thing is their fight.
It starts out as sparring, and then it ends up being not so much that, and that's kind of interesting. I think.
Yeah.
I think that difference between the two versions of him. I think.
Wait, before we clearly vote Ahsoka versus Anakin, let me talk about Vader versus Luke in Return of the Jedi.
Speak your truth, King. Let's see what you got to say.
This is the only fight. Spoilers on the bracket from the OG movies.
It's true.
I think it's better than Empire. One, because you get green lightsaber Luke, who is like full force power. Let's fucking go. And my favorite moment from that fight is when Vader threatens to. He's like, "I don't need you. You have a sister, and I'm gonna go after her." And Luke just screams "Never," and he just goes ham. And there's this beautiful like wide shot, panning shot of Luke just taking it to Vader before obviously the end of this fight. And it's one of those things where it's like, I've said this probably, I don't know if I said this on the podcast in the past, but I've said this to you guys, where in my brain, and this is where I don't think the fight can go on because it starts to enter imagination territory. That fight is far more choreographed if they made that movie today,
for sure.
And I think because that choreography is ahead of its time for the time period, but it's hard to look at it after we were exposed to the prequel era, So when it compares to those two, it's like, the choreography is nowhere near it, but the emotional stakes and the choreography are still kind of working and clicking in that movie, which is why I think obviously it works.
That's true.
I just love it's just great, but yeah.
Yeah, I love this fight.
No, it's just another thing where it's like nostalgia wise, like that's such a pinnacle fight in Return of the Jedi that, like, yeah, I mean, so much happens in that you're like, holy shit. But by our standards, it looks like shit.
I mean, it was the culmination of the trilogy as well.
Right.
It's funny that you mentioned that moment, Oscar, as your favorite, because that to me is always the goofiest part of that fight. It's like they're fighting each other, and then somehow he loses Luke, like in this giant room, which is like, to be fair, it's a big room, but like there's 3 people in this room.
It's pretty open.
And he's like hiding in the shadows. Luke's just like hiding, and there's like this light across his face. I don't know. Anyway, I do love that fight though, as you know, nostalgia reasons.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, you saw a lightsaber throw for the first time because Luke's up on that bridge, and then Darth Vader throws his that's happens right before he loses Luke. But still, just like go to where the bridge fell down, and he's got to be somewhere there. I mean, have you ever played hide and seek before?
I'm just thinking about the whole thing. God, Mark Hamill was such a Chad back then because like the way he was running around was so goofy looking. If you remember that, he's like,
those polished
can't
boots,
catch me.
Those polished boots.
I don't know when humans learned how to run properly.
He runs so goofy in those films.
It wasn't in the 70s and 80s.
I think I'm going to vote for Luke versus Vader, but I think the main reason, and like for the reasons that Oscar mentioned as well, like for the time, and I've watched that fight many times, watching the movie over the years. I think my note with Ahsoka versus Anakin is that whole episode, I was hoping for like some more meaningful dialogue and like some more meaningful stakes, and they kind of just. I think that was a cool thing they did with that episode, but it was the stakes were kind of unclear. It's like, does she need to beat him to live, to come back to life, or like
that's fair.
And like they were just saying a lot of nonsense Jedi jargon to each other the whole time. And so for me, that kind of detracted from it, where it's like, I wish there had been more of a reason that he decided to throw hands with her in the afterlife. And, maybe some better dialogue of like, hey, I'm sorry I left you. I've always regretted that, I left you, and that I think that's why you turned the dark side. And he's like, I would have turned no matter what you did. And like have some kind of forgiveness there instead of just like, you still haven't learned anything. Like, let me just start attacking you again. It's like, this doesn't make, I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me.
Have you ever considered being a writer? You just wrote that episode better. Have you ever considered being a writer?
I mean, bro, like seriously, I was hoping for something where it's like, to release the guilt that she felt. Yeah. It felt like such a modern thing of like, oh, we just want to get some more Vader time to do this for the fans. And like, if I had watched that episode was in theaters and some places, if I had seen that episode in theaters, I would have been pissed that I paid money to see that. Like that was
I'm the complete opposite. I'm the complete opposite in the sense that the moment Anakin starts swinging that shit around, I was like, we're back. We're done. It's over. It's a wrap. It's done. This episode is one of the best Star Wars things I've seen in so long. This was amazing.
That's so funny.
And it was very cool, but I just wish it could have been better.
But I'm not gonna lie though. I will agree with you in the sense that at the end of it, this goes into Ahsoka stuff, more Ahsoka theory stuff, in the sense that I anticipate seeing more Anakin because it didn't, like you said, it didn't quite feel finished.
Right.
The back of my mind, I think the show thinks this is it. Like now she's redeemed, but it didn't quite feel that in terms of the dialogue between the two, like you were saying.
The dialogue in that show fucking sucks.
It's weird.
Fucking sucks. Weird. I can't stand it.
So I agree with you there.
The dialogue is awful. I don't understand why Filoni is writing the dialogue so bad.
Writing poetry. Stop writing poetry, bro. I want to listen to people talk like humans.
Right.
But I will say, like, it might also be because at that point I'm comparing to the rest of the series, and this just blew every other lightsaber fight out of the fucking water. And I was just like, oh, thank God. I was like, Ahsoka could do this all the time, girl. Yeah. What are you doing?
I will say, when you did send that clip of like people's reactions of this show, I thought it was going to be a joke because I thought it was going to be bad because I didn't like it as much as everybody for a lot of those reasons. One of those things I think that, and I've kind of accepted that I'm never going to get the lightsaber battles that I want anymore, that we've just gone past that version of Star Wars at this point, even the Old Republic Star Wars. So I was just kind of like, yeah, it was cool. I love seeing my boy. Shout out to Hayden Christensen getting some work again. He did a little spin. That's cool. And then he proceeded to do some pretty generic lightsaber moves after that. It looked cool, but it wasn't much. So why I do think it is better than the Vader versus Luke. I'm going to vote for Vader versus Luke because I just think that there's actually more meat there. There's more stuff there.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
In modern times, it would be way more stuff going on, but
the lightsabers wouldn't break when you hit them together, so that helps.
Right.
So yeah.
Damn. All right. There you go.
It's good to get one original trilogy fight.
I told y'all I could do
it. You talked us through it. You really talked us through it because I was fully expecting to vote for Vader and Ahsoka. But then you
I didn't even think it was gonna win.
One deserves to make it out of the first round.
No, can it make it again? Let's see. All right, next one.
Yeah.
We have Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul.
Not based off these fights.
Yeah, Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul in Rebels, and Obi-Wan versus Anakin or Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, easy.
Revenge of the Sith fight was so fucking cool that I used to be twirling around fucking wrapping paper rods. I still do that to this day. To this fucking day. I am 31 years old and I still fucking do that because of this movie that came out in what? 2003, 2004?
Yep.
I fucking loved it. This is my favorite.
Duel of the Fates.
My favorite fight in all of the Star Wars franchise. My favorite. No question.
Yeah, it's hard to beat, man. Like, honestly, these are two perfectly, like, just juxtaposed fights, because the Obi-Wan Maul fight from Rebels is like 4 seconds long. It's like it's a non-fight fight, and to the point where when I first watched it, I was like, oh, that was a little anticlimactic, but it makes so much sense story-wise because it's old Obi-Wan. And the coolest thing about this that I didn't pick up until I saw obviously everyone talking about it is that Obi-Wan baits Maul in this fight.
Oh yeah,
he baits Maul into doing the thing he did to kill Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan knows it's coming, and that's the only way that Obi-Wan he beats Maul in like one strike, because he has learned as a Jedi over the course since that fight with Maul, whereas Maul has stayed the exact same since that fight,
just
because his only goal was to kill Obi-Wan. So he learned nothing. Man. So he went for the same fucking shit, and Obi-Wan's like, you fucking idiot.
He was so mad. God, he hated Obi-Wan so much.
Mad.
He was so mad about it.
Talking about how hate makes you live. This man lived off of just pure hate.
Yeah.
Bro got cut in half. I like how they could have explained it through like, it's just alien biology. Like, you can be cut in half, it'll be fine. But it's like, nah.
I hated you so much.
I got my legs back. Yeah.
No, I just think I remember a lot of people talked about like Obi-Wan's stance is that he does his old stance, and then it's like, no, that's not going to work. So he changes to his new stance. Because like you said, he's learned more,
and then
he knows more.
He changes to like a more Qui-Gon stance as well. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I like all those elements of the fight, but like it's Revenge of the Sith.
It's Duel of the Fates, man. It has its own name. Like the music is hitting. There's like a choir of people singing in the background. Like just one of the most epic music pieces, not just in Star Wars, but I would say history.
John Williams really cooked with that one. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he was cooking. He was cooking there. But yeah, I mean, Duel of the Fates, there's no question.
Also, Devin, I have to do it because people will yell at us. Duel of the Fates is the Phantom Menace one, right?
What?
Yeah.
I thought it was Wait, what do they call the one in Revenge of the Sith?
I mean it's a similar music, but the actual like Duel of the Fates song is for that Maul fight.
Well, my bad. I know nothing then. So, don't listen to me.
I don't want to get emails.
Easy. I think that's a sweep.
I mean, yeah, like everyone knows the meme moment where they're swinging their lightsabers around without actually hitting each other. It's just such good shit.
It just felt like the most mastery over the lightsaber, in my opinion. I know a lot of people have issues with the way that like it looks goofy and stuff, and they're just showing off a whole bunch. But it's like, if you are one of the best fighters, which a lot of these people are, I mean, they're both Jedi Guardians, quote unquote. They both have blue lightsabers. You should be showing off. Probably, you're the best at using this fucking lightsaber.
I mean, they're light. They're like, they got to be like fencing swords light, probably lighter than that. But yeah, I mean, you can see they're building to it because like Phantom of the Menace is still one of my favorite like fights in all of Star Wars. But they kind of took a step down, I think, in Attack on the Clones. And I think Revenge of the Sith, they're like, all right, everything we've been trying, like thinking about, just throw it in this last one. Just go off. And the choreography, I mean, just so cool. So cool.
Yeah. It's just nonstop from the get-go. Like they are just relentless. Like you can tell so Anakin
fast.
Is trying to kill this motherfucker. Like no doubt in his mind. And Obi-Wan is just like, Obi-Wan is just fending for his fucking life this whole fight.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to like. He's fighting his best friend. Like this is brother. You were my brother. Like
But look, this could be a point against it. This fight's gonna go on, but it's a point against it. That whole high ground shit is dumb as fuck.
That's true. That
you underestimate my power. That's really how you lost.
That's a meme moment. And like you could tell they were sitting in the writers' room, like, okay, like how are we gonna end this? Like, all right, we gotta have some moment. Obi-Wan has to open up an advantage. It's like, well, in military history, I mean, if you have the high ground, you're set.
Which Obi-Wan didn't have when he killed Darth Maul, quote unquote Darth Maul.
Right.
He literally had the low ground.
Anakin could have just flipped 2 feet in front of him, bro.
Yeah, or maybe just hop off that little robot and just start walking up the hill.
Exactly, yeah. But no, he had a big flip.
He was showing off. I mean, to this day, the fact that he just leaves him there to slowly burn to death is so fucking funny. Like, no mercy kill.
No.
Just like,
You would think it was your
should burn
best
a little
friend.
bit.
He's like, no, I want you to sit here and think about it as you burn alive. I hate you.
I mean, Obi-Wan was a snarky guy. Like, he's always sassy as hell to Anakin. So
That's
maybe that was
true.
like one final little sassy
One last
thing.
fuck you.
We'll toast you there.
Obi-Wan is constantly like letting dudes survive off of hate to kill him later.
Yeah.
He's the master at that.
It's like, I just couldn't bring myself to kill my friend, but he's burning alive and his legs are cut off and he's definitely going to die in like
this is
20
merciful.
to 30 minutes.
This is the way.
This is the way.
He has a chance. I'll let him walk it off.
Jesus. Terrible.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's Revenge of the Sith for me.
Obviously, I was Revenge of the Sith. I think we all got that one. Next one.
Yeah.
We got the Elder from Visions, Star Wars Visions. And then we got one of your favorites, Hope from the Old Republic.
Ooh, now this is the one that takes place in the forest, correct?
Yes, this is the Forest one.
Yeah, what's the Elder from Visions? Remind me of
The Elder. That's the one that we all freaked out about because it was the first time we saw a dude. It's when the 2 Jedi, Master and Padawan, go after a Sith Lord and they fight. They find this really old, decrepit old man.
Yeah,
and the fight ends because the Elder kind of defeats the Padawan first. He doesn't die, but he beats him, and then the Master comes up. And he just, in one swift move, puts his lightsaber to the Elder's chest, turns it on, and then turns it off immediately in like 2 seconds.
Dude, yeah, that was sick.
That was
I
amazing.
forgot about that. Yeah, very cool fight. But I mean, it ain't better than.
I mean,
not even close.
just seeing like
Not even
all
close.
of the soldiers being destroyed by the Sith fighters, and then Homegirl just comes from the fucking heavens and just
Bro.
like force pushes through the ground to push them all away.
She's
Pretty
like
dope.
walking on people's heads and
Yeah.
stabbing them at the same time.
Well, because she's got what? The first time we saw like a double-bladed blue lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was so sick.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we have given Rey a double-bladed lightsaber? They had it planned. For
She
the
used a
original
quarter
Rise of Skywalker.
staff. Like, why
Yeah.
wouldn't she use a double-bladed
She had a
lightsaber?
staff. She had a staff the whole
It
time.
made so much sense. It made so much sense.
But anyway, it didn't make too much sense. But let's keep it on the good things here, okay? KOTOR. this is one of my favorite like pieces of Star Wars media because like it's the underdog fight. Like the soldiers are getting in there and like their ambush doesn't really work out, and the Sith acolytes are executing people, and okay, they lost. And then she just comes in there. She stabs like 3 acolytes immediately, but she's going straight for the Malgus, right? Is that Darth Malgus?
I don't remember.
Just the whole fight that they have between them. She catches his lightsaber in her hand and like blocks it that way. The whole fight is just so incredible.
And then it ends with a giant Kamehameha.
I was about to say, it has the most interesting use of force powers, I think. Because that's the thing that really pisses me off. Like, all the force powers that you get in video games and stuff, and the only thing you ever see is lightning push and pull in, in the movies. And it's not even a cool-looking pull. I think the best push was, like you said, in the Obi-Wan show, where he's actually, like, pulling and pushing stuff towards him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit bangs, man. I don't know. That
Yeah.
shit bangs.
That was
She sent his ass into a mountain.
That's one of my favorite ones because I love a double-bladed lightsaber. I love 2 lightsabers and like a lightsaber in each hand. Like, I just really fuck with something different than the
so
normal
cool.
saber. I like that.
Yeah.
one.
I need them to
It's
make
good.
a movie about. Like, I need them to make a Disney show. They got to know about this. And like KOTOR, like it's got to be in the plans. I would love to see it.
I wish they would make a whole show out of just this because this shit. Oh,
Yeah.
I would rep this with my whole being.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that one too because that one, it was just so cool, so cool.
But like Elder, honorable mention, very cool.
Absolutely, yeah,
Deserves to be here.
It's unfortunate that it has to go up against stuff like this. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
this is very I can only sing
Yeah,
its
but no
praises.
question.
Well, next we have our this is the last for our quarterfinals, whatever it is. We got Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul. This was the only good thing to come out of the first episode of Star Wars because that movie fucking sucks.
No, this is impossible.
And it's that versus Return of Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Oh,
can't
Devin.
I can't
Uh-oh.
vote. I can't vote. I must recuse myself. Can't do it. I can't pick.
This one's easy for me. It's the actual Duel of the Fates. This is what changed Anakin's life. This is why it's called Duel of the Fates. It's the whole thing of if Qui-Gon wins this fight, the trajectory of Anakin completely changes.
Obi-Wan wasn't ready.
potentially- No. And Obi-Wan didn't want to be his master. He only did it because Qui-Gon on his deathbed said, train the boy. That's the only reason. Obi-Wan didn't want to fucking deal with this fucking kid. He didn't care.
He was a kid himself.
Yeah.
If Qui-Gon had lived, I think Anakin would have turned out different for sure.
Beyond the story implications, the Maul double-bladed lightsaber for the first time and just like, bruh.
I bought that toy so fucking fast. Immediately. I was like, we have to leave this theater immediately. I need that. That man fucking is awesome.
Like, you can't beat
it.
Man said no words.
As much of a non-character as he is in that movie, he was a force in this fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Old Republic, this is the one in the hangar. It's pretty damn dope.
Yeah, this is the one with Cowboy Bebop we got there.
Yeah.
I mean, everything you've said is true. However, I think about moments in the Return trailer. Like, okay, we talked about the Roman Empire. How often do you think of the Roman Empire? I think about the moment where the Master throws his lightsaber to save, I think Satine, right? Is her name?
I'm not sure of her name.
And like, she's down. She's knocked off balance. Guy's coming in for the kill. He throws his lightsaber, deflects it.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it back. Oh, it's just so good. Like the two, when they first they swear off. There's 2 Jedi, 2 Sith, and they just jump into it. Oh, that just the choreography is. This is like the peak. This is what sucks is because this is like the best. I think of the 3 KOTOR trailers. This is my favorite. I think of the 3, but
it's so
God,
funny.
It's so good.
It's so obvious how horny for Star Wars all the people that worked on this game are, especially their cinematic theme. Because the Old Republic was a fine MMO. I played a decent bit of it, and I had a decent time, but it wasn't like the best thing I've ever played. But the cinematics go. At one point, the dude, I don't know what that race is. Not that like Darth Maul is actually like I think he's considered like a half race because the actual race of him isn't his color. I forget. There's a whole storyline based around it because the red and black is different, and then like the guy that's gray is actually like the full race of that character. But he takes out a double-bladed lightsaber and his own lightsaber, and he dual wields a double-bladed lightsaber and a single-bladed lightsaber at the same time. Like, what the fuck?
About that.
Yes.
That's pretty damn cool.
He's like, I gotta stay behind, and then she throws him as she's leaving. She throws it to him.
And he fucking, and it's just like you didn't. There's no reason to go that hard, but you just know that like the people that sat there in that fucking room writing this shit was like, no.
And the music is hitting. Like, oh my
everybody
God,
on that team. Everybody on that team watches anime and also loves Star Wars for sure because they just want to say what's the most cool thing we could put every single time they did something, and it worked.
Yeah, it is my favorite like Star Wars fight. Like in all of them, like it's my favorite one. But Darth Maul though is like
it's iconic. It's iconic. That's what we grew up on.
Live action one. Yeah, that's my favorite one of the live actions. It's definitely Darth Maul versus Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
I mean. I gotta go live action. I gotta go Duel of the Fates. I gotta go Phantom Menace. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon.
When that happened in theaters, like when we saw that for the first time, it just blew our minds. Like, because the whole time we're like, like before this, it's just one lightsaber, right?
Yeah.
And the way he lights it up, right? Ray Park. He lights one side, and then the other side lights up like a second or two later. You're like,
yeah.
Whoa!
I mean, it was also like the first time that. Like for the masses, we saw lightsaber fights like that,
right?
Because this was the first one to come out, so it's like this set the standard in terms of our ideas for what these fights could be.
I think without this fight, you don't get the Return trailer.
You don't get Revenge of the Sith. You don't get a lot of shit potentially.
George Lucas wasn't thinking about double-bladed lightsabers. You know what I mean? Like that was definitely some random person came up with that idea. Like
that's the thing, man. The most electric Star Wars stuff is always the stuff that that they just don't put enough love into.
Right.
Like double-bladed lightsabers. Like please give me more of that.
I'm voting for fucking Qui-Gon Jinn Obi-Wan. I think it's a pinnacle.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm overruled. I vote Return then. But I think the choreography right at the end with Obi-Wan, where they're 1v1. And it's Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader or Darth Maul. Very cool. When he's like behind his head, immediately in the front. Like I thought about that all the time. But the one note on this fight, very dumb logistics. Like that whole. First of all, why
Devin the logistics guy?
Why do you need 7 to 10 of these like laser field doors?
Oh, that shit was real dumb.
Why the fuck? What industrial process needs that shit? And second of all, why wouldn't you wait? Just wait, Qui-Gon. Wait for Obi-Wan to catch up. But instead, he runs in there first chance he gets and to try to 1v1 it. That's stupid. Just wait. For me, that's the one detraction.
It's the same buildings that don't have handrails anywhere though. So like they don't really think that they don't plan for
Yeah,
anything.
they got a lot of like walkways and stuff where you can fall really fucking far away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it was definitely for effect. It was very artistic, but not actually
Right.
useful in any way, shape, or form. The same way that there's no
Yeah.
fucking guardrails on anything in Star
no,
Wars.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Boom.
yep.
Love
All
it.
right. Well, regrettably, Return does not make it. But damn it.
Once again, it still fucking slaps. Still love it, but yeah, doesn't make it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. We're going to maybe the harder shit. I don't know. We got Ahsoka versus Maul and Attack of the Clone Wars. We got Ronin versus the Bandit and Visions.
Ooh.
yeah, I'm going Ronin just because of that umbrella lightsaber, bro. I gotta go with that.
That umbrella lightsabers are really fucking cool.
It's tough.
What are you thinking, Dylan?
You know what? Yeah, because the Maul fight with Ahsoka is more conventional. So
Yes.
it's one of the best ones in all of Star Wars. But because it's more conventional, I will also vote Ronin. I think.
I think I agree with that. I was gonna say basically similar reasons. I think it's just so interesting what happens in that. Something we've never seen before.
And also, I think personally, I think we just talked about a much better Maul fight.
This is also true. Absolutely. 100%.
True. Coming off the heels of that.
Yeah.
Nice. Then we got Dooku versus Yoda from Attack of the Clones and Ahsoka versus Darth Vader.
From
Ooh,
Rebels. Okay.
I'm still going Yoda and Dooku. That moment, that was so cool. That was the best moment of that whole episode 2. Was this?
I mean,
5
absolutely,
minutes.
but that's a low
That's
bar.
why I
so
said that movie. Another movie that fucking sucks.
That's like saying, "Oh, look, I found a piece of chocolate in this piece of shit."
Just watching Romeo and Juliet for 2 hours, and then we got one cool battle. Cool, awesome.
I honestly, when I saw this movie in theaters, granted it was late and I was young because it came out in like 2003 or whatever. I fell asleep during Attack of the Clones and then woke up during this fight. I was like, "Whoa, this is cool."
Mm,
I'm going Ahsoka Vader.
mm.
Yeah, I think I like the emotional stakes of this fight more than the Yoda Dooku one.
I think I agree with you.
Dang it. Overruled.
It's out of
This
here.
live action shit sucks, bro.
Sorry,
I don't know what
Yoda.
to tell you. Make them do better. All right. So from there, we got Luke versus Vader and Return of the Jedi, which somehow made it to the second round. And then we got Obi-Wan versus Anakin, Revenge of the Sith.
Oh
Well,
no!
that's the end of that run. It's been swell. It was good seeing you.
It never stood a chance.
Yeah, he's a UMBC Golden Retrievers when they beat UVA. We're just happy to make it to the second round.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is obviously Obi-Wan versus Anakin. That's easy.
I'm sorry that
Yeah, it's
that fight fucking
yeah.
bangs. There's no way that Luke
Yeah,
can
there's
beat
no chance. Luke Skywalker's head would explode if he saw this fight.
it.
it really
He wouldn't know what
shit. Darth
to do.
Vader's head would explode, and he was like, "I was there."
You did that? You used to move like
that was me? Nah.
What happened,
That
man?
wasn't me. Nah. That's so fucking funny.
Dang.
Ooh, this might be a tough one. So Hope from the Old Republic versus Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul.
No.
Will Duel of the Fates take down all of the Old Republic cinematics?
No, dude, it can't.
That's a really tough one.
That's tough.
I think Hope is one of my favorites
Oh.
when it comes to the trilogy, just because I like Homegirl. I think she's really cool.
Yes,
Yeah.
team.
She reminds me of Bastila from
Badass.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, damn.
Didn't somebody pick Satine when we did the draft, or did I pick Satine?
You probably picked the team.
I think I might have picked her.
I think you
Because I
picked
know
her,
her fucking
actually,
name.
yeah.
When the
She deserves it.
I will just really quickly say I'm probably gonna pick Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Maul purely on the sense that is more of a pure lightsaber v lightsaber fight than
this is
the
a
Hope
whole
thing.
ass
That is
battle.
true.
Yeah.
There's a lot more elements. There's the clone trooper guy. There's a lot more force elements. That Duel of the Fates is just fucking lightsaber on lightsaber action for like 20 minutes.
That's true.
So that's me though. That's tough.
Once
It's
again, it was
tough.
a life changing moment. I think I'm with you with the Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan. I think that even though it maybe not be the best choreographed thing I've ever seen, I think that there's so many stakes to it. There's so much that it creates. There's so much that it makes.
And look, sometimes these things just when they work, they're slightly more impressive in live action.
That is true. That is true.
It just matters more. Nothing matters in the Old
Yeah.
Republic to me.
Right.
It's purely just cool.
well. I'll protest vote for Hope just because I think it's what Star Wars should be.
I agree with you. 100%.
Fair enough. I mean, it's the whole reason why we're so excited for when they're talking about doing a High Republic and a potential Old Republic stories. We're like, yes, because that means this could be a reality one
Right.
day, you know?
Right.
when that day comes, if it comes, shit. There you go. Those might become the best fights. Who knows?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not mad because like Darth Maul deserves to be here. Like it's not unfair.
No.
This fight deserves to be in the semis.
Yo, fucking Darth Maul be taking these trailers out.
He's farming 3-0, baby.
If these were on the other side of the bracket, they would have been in the final. Like,
I'm kind of annoyed at what's made it to the semis right now. What side of the brackets they're on, because we have for this next round we have the Ronin versus the Bandit versus Ahsoka and Darth Vader.
Damn,
agreed.
Like,
this is a weak side of the bracket.
That's the weak side of the bracket, I think, comparatively.
This is a semifinal, right?
Yeah, it's the semifinal. Yep.
Fuck.
I mean, dude, I think for me, these two fights together, I mean, still Ronin.
I think still Ronin.
And like Ronin and the Bandit in 8 minutes, whatever this is, it gets to the root of what Star Wars is, which is like it gets to the roots of good parts about Star Wars, which is like the samurai kind of standoff, the samurai vibes kind of thing. It tells a really good story and something unique, all in 8 minutes, very impressively. Whereas, with Rebels, you got to build up that whole way.
Yeah, I'm going Ronin as well, I think.
God, is it gonna win? Is Ronin the best fight in Star Wars?
It might. I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like the Darth Vader fight, like it's cool. Like you said, it's kind of conventional, and I think the conventionality of it is like, I don't think that's enough for me.
No, that's fair. Absolutely. Yeah.
Boom.
Ronin wins.
Now we have my worst fear.
The other semifinal.
Obi-Wan versus Anakin.
We knew this was gonna happen. We knew this was gonna happen at some point.
Revenge of the Sith, and then Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan for the Phantom Menace. I'm a ride for my boy, because when I tell you there's one movie that I'm going to continue to watch, and there's one movie that I'm not. When I rewatch Star Wars, I literally skip Phantom Menace, but I do not skip Revenge of the Sith.
Man. Like we knew that this was going to be one of those fights.
Both of them are what makes Darth Vader Darth Vader, but one of them is directly why Darth Vader is Darth Vader, because that man is a smoldering piece of ash in the middle of fucking nowhere. And his wife dies at the end.
Oh, man.
Right.
So
these are by far the best two live action.
Yeah, I mean, no question.
Whoever wins this is winning. For me, whoever wins this wins the final.
We're so aggressively millennial, which is so funny, because I feel like other people, older Star Wars fans, would probably be so mad at this list.
Oh, I know. It's very much a generational thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going with Obi-Wan and Anakin. Revenge of the Sith. Just as a boy that loves anime, that was such an anime-ass fight in so many aspects of it. Yeah, some of it's kind of goofy when they started jumping around the trash freaks or whatever, and then the whole flip thing. That's fucking stupid. But that's what Star Wars is. It's fucking stupid.
I will also add that, I think there is slightly more emotional weight to this fight than there is to the Phantom Menace fight, because based on their faces, you see the sweat and Obi-Wan's crying nearly at the end of this fight, and it's like he doesn't want to do it, but he knows he fucking has to.
It's one of the biggest plot twists in all of Star Wars, that you have to end up fighting the person that you train to save the world, save the universe. That is such a terrifying thought to have. And so many plot points still use that, of being like, when your friend turns to your enemy, like blah blah blah. God, it sucks. So I love it. It's good.
And I will say, this is also once again a classic. For the most part, there's a couple moments of the Force being used, but this is mostly a lightsaber. I'm going to try to cut you in half.
We're just throwing hands, literally. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, but before we vote, I think my only note here is that between these two specifically, I think the choreography, I love the choreography of both. However, I think that when you think about the 1v1, when Obi-Wan is fighting Darth Maul, Qui-Gon's gone, right? That choreography and the choreography before that, it feels like the best overall version, because in Revenge of the Sith, that choreography is so over the top that it does feel, it's a little too much, right?
No,
that's
not
fair.
A little too much. But the one,
It's
perfect.
The choreography,
good soup, perfect.
But in Phantom Menace, it feels like just enough. It feels like amazing, but they didn't do too far. So it was really fast between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, but it felt real. It felt like they're actually these are
I see your point, because I could see, and I have heard from other people that the Revenge of the Sith fight goes on for too long, and I could see that it does. I still
love it. I see what you're saying, and I definitely agree with you. but at the same time, I watched Dragon Ball Z, where I watched Goku literally skateboard and Kamehameha around another blast and then shoot a girl directly in her face. I like shit over the top. I like it over the top. I don't know what to say.
Yeah,
And
no,
also, I
that's
don't
fair.
think the duration should be a knock against the Return of the Revenge of the Sith.
Well, I
one.
think if it becomes like too much that you just kind of get numb to it, that could be a case.
And I
for
do think that point where they are like hanging off and like, you know, almost falling off those little like whatchamacallit,
Yeah.
that's kind of not necessary. At that point, you get
Right,
kind of over
right.
it.
But I will say, the fucking just the idea and the look of a lava planet, and all you see are two bright blue lightsabers fighting in the amongst the red is
Artistically,
amazing.
that
It's
was
incredible.
that was a really interesting choice.
Remember when that like bridge thing is falling apart and they're like swinging on ropes, just like taking one slash at each other as they like,
Yeah,
swing
see that
by,
part-
like-
And that was the part that I'm like,
That part's a little-
yeah, I could skip that
Yeah.
part.
I kind of forget about that part.
I remember that being in the trailers for that movie
Yeah.
so often, like Obi-Wan just swinging on a rope.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm going Revenge of the Sith.
same.
Yeah, well, there you go. I've been overruled a lot today.
Damn. I see the vision, but Revenge of the Sith.
I do too, and like it's tough.
Yeah.
And then of course we know what the final's gonna be. It's the Ronin and the Bandit versus Revenge of the Sith.
All right, Ronan, let's
Easy.
take it home.
Easy. Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is the best fucking fight in all of live action Star Wars, and I don't think it's even
Yeah.
close. Fuck
Yeah.
everybody that says anything else. Obi-Wan is a bad TV show. Thank you, good night.
Yeah, I'm with this for sure. It's definitely Anakin versus Obi-Wan. So
Yeah.
shocking.
Congrats
absolutely
to
no-
Ronan for making it
Yeah.
this fucking
Second
far.
place is crazy.
That's mostly error on us for setting up the bracket that way, or just random. Because listen,
It was
It was
random.
yeah.
because the reasons we got it this far was because of reasons that we also would have voted for KOTOR. So if it had come across any of the KOTOR ones, no chance I'm voting for Ronan.
You're probably correct. Yeah.
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 So
But that's how the cookie crumbles, as Brian
that's
said.
how it happened.
Sorry, but fucking the Old Republic ones got Last of Us like in the last
Right.
bracket. It's just how
Still
it
very
happens.
good. I still recommend everybody watch them because they are really, really cool lightsaber fights. that
Yes.
I think are probably some of the most
Absolutely.
interesting Star Wars battles to ever exist.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Maybe don't play the game though. It's just okay. It's free to play though. So if you want to play it, it's free. But you know, go up.
Is it still up?
I believe it's still up. Yeah. I
Oh,
played
wow,
it
damn.
maybe like right during the pandemic, maybe 2020, 2021. And I had fun. It was fun.
So there we go. Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. That was a fun
Anakin,
one.
the Obi-Wan winner. Best
Yeah.
lightsaber Star Wars fight. We'll see what Ahsoka brings to in the last 2 episodes. We'll see what
Oh,
some
man.
old New Republic stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, it's still reigning champ.
Something about the early 2000s, man.
Also
Yeah.
helps that we were like 10 years old,
Yes.
11 years old.
That's when I was the most
Whatever.
impressionable for sure.
Dang.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and watch it now. Again.
Honestly, I might go back and watch a couple of these.
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing something while we were doing this. Yep.
All right. That is the main topic. That means, guys, should we now move on to our very quick last segment of the show,
Let's do it.
which we like to call Free for All, title pending. This is a segment, listeners, where we can kind of do whatever we want, talk about our day, talk about our life, rant, fight, nap. It is free for all. I will quickly go because just real quick things. I watched 2 more of those assembled Marvel behind the scenes. They released 2 of them in the past couple weeks for Guardians Volume 3, and then they also did one for Secret Invasion.
I knew you were
which
going to watch that. I saw that and I was disrespected by seeing that even on there.
Dude, I will not lie when I say somehow the behind the scenes was just as boring as the show. I was like,
Dang.
damn. Because the Guardians one is like was 10 minutes longer than the Secret Invasion one, and that one I thoroughly enjoyed to watch. And then I was like, all right, Secret Invasion, it's 10 minutes shorter. Okay, cool. Man, I was bored.
That's funny because that was actually going to be, I don't know if I talked about it yet, but that was going to be my free for all as well.
Oh, really?
That I'd finally finished it after
Oh,
letting
shit.
it sit for a long time. That show fucking sucks.
Ooh,
That
yeah.
show's really fucking bad.
Damn.
It's honestly weird. Also, shout out to God of War Ragnarok. Also, really weird how off that show goes, man.
I don't know what it accomplishes. I don't know what it does. I don't know if it does anything. All I learned is that Nick Fury is fucking an alien. That's all I got out of that show. That's really. Did you get anything else from it? Because I sure fucking didn't. The ending
man.
battle with fucking Emilia Clarke and Homeboy, who was
No.
great in Barbie, horrible in this. I don't know.
Dang.
That shit was so bad. I was just like disappointed in how bad it was.
Yeah, it really added nothing.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how that affects anything in the storyline. But I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. I don't think that I got anything. All the characters that you thought would be interesting, that you thought you would like, will either die or be scrolls. So it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically.
I don't know. It was weird. Sorry, I didn't mean to hijack your thing, but I wasn't going to talk about that. That's not funny.
I completely forgot about Secret Invasion. I forgot about that.
You should.
Devin, I remember because Devin was for weeks telling us, guys, are we going to talk about Secret Invasion on the podcast for weeks? And this man has still not watched any of it.
I didn't even watch episode 1.
God damn.
This whole time we're like, Devin, if you want to talk about it, you need to be the one to watch it.
Yeah, I mean, at this point though, I'm not watching a YouTube video.
Oh,
over
yeah, no.
8 minutes that explains the whole plot of the season.
That's fair.
You don't need to watch 6 episodes.
It's really not worth it, unfortunately.
It's incredible though. Save a lot of time that way.
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, I have 2 things, but I guess I have 2 things I could do, but I really wanted to share with you all because you know about my Bannerlord obsession.
Yes.
Oh, it's back.
Listen, our Mongol hordes are slowly making progress moving westward, okay? But guys, I had one of the coolest experiences I've had in this game I had this week, okay? I hadn't played it in a few weeks, but I picked it up. So I was in a castle. It was under siege. And we were outnumbered. Like I had like gotten into the castle just in time to like get under siege, because you can't get into a castle once it's under siege unless you like lose some people, whatever. It's the whole thing. But the army that was fighting, so we're fighting like right now, we're fighting like the Western Roman Empire, which is like it's not the Western Roman Empire, but it's like kind of like what they are, but we haven't tangled with them yet. And like there's been other kingdoms in between us, so we finally are fighting them now because we're kind of, you know, bumping and grinding against their borders. And they showed up with a massive army. It was like 700, 800 people, right? And I was sitting there with my little army with like, and plus the garrison of the people that already were in the castle. I was like freaking Gimli at Helm's Deep, man. Like I was like Legolas at one point. I was like shooting arrows at guys coming up ladders. I was sitting there with my axe, just like hitting guys up the ladders, like just going crazy. Like we repulsed them like 3 or 4 times. And every time we would lose a few more people, right? And like we took out their battering ram, so they couldn't get in. The only way they could get in was through the ladders, right?
How do you take away their battering ram?
But
Never
every
mind.
time our numbers got lower and lower and lower. And I'm like, man, like, you know, maybe we're not going to make it. And then right as I think they're about to leave, they showed up with another 700 person army showed up. So now we're outnumbered like 5-1. It was wild.
So like, is this like the same campaign, or have you had to like start over? Like, have you lost yet?
No, same campaign.
Oh wow!
My
so you're making it fucking through these people.
So in one of the engagements, I died. Like, so if you die, you just can't participate in the next battle. You have to like simulate it of like what happens. So at one point, I think it was 300 versus like 1,000.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I mean, whatever. I guess we're just gonna lose. And I put so much effort into like defending this castle, and then the simulation we won.
What the fuck?
Like it just won.
Shit.
The Mongols are built different, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's because our catapults took out their like battering rams, so they didn't have any way to get in other than the you know. So I guess that factors into account in the simulation.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah, it was such a good feeling. It was such an amazing feeling to like hold that city.
How many people did you end up with at the end? Like, how many casualties did you get?
I can't remember. I had like my army didn't, but you get a lot of times your people get like wounded. So I think I had a good hefty amount wounded. I lost like half my army.
Goddamn.
At least. And the garrison was completely gone. But like, and then like after like all the generals were like my captives, you know, like all the other enemy leaders. So it just felt like amazing that like we broke this army on our walls, and like now we had like open season on the neighboring castles and stuff. So like our Mongol hordes are going all over the place, like just opened it up for us because they didn't have a southern army anymore. So anyway, I know that was a really long story, but
you make that game sound so much more interesting than it probably will be when I eventually play it, which kind of makes me mad because you make me excited to try it, and then I feel like I'm not
telling you. I mean, expectation management is just okay, I guess, but like. You do have to like YouTube everything because the game explains nothing. It's very hard to understand how things work. But like I YouTubed a lot of stuff, and like now I understand it. But like I'm just telling you, there's nothing like fighting at Helm's Deep, you know, like defending a castle. But also on the other hand, when you like are in a cavalry charge and you just like crash into like a formation of infantry, it is like the most.
He's saying it like he was
so
there.
My boy went to war.
and like a lot of times I'm a horse archer. My main character is a horse archer. So a lot of times I'll like see my cavalry charge into like infantry. I'll order them to do it. And like the feeling of just watching them crash in
Jesus Christ.
is just so incredibly satisfying. Like it is
it's
just
so
so good. It's so good. It's so much fun. I've always wanted a game like this.
Yeah, that sounds like exactly what you wanted. I love that for you.
real.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, keep us up on your journeys with that show.
I will play it someday. I got 12,000 games to play, but it's on my list.
I'll let you know when I've conquered the Western Roman Empire. the Walmart version of the
right. All right. Well, that is our show, listeners. Don't forget, you can email us at thefortress@gmail.com. Fortress spelled FOUR. Feel free to email us any questions, feedback, recommendations, or anything like that. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and the YouTube channel at The Fortress of. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell your cat. Follow the 3 R's like a Bollywood movie. Rate, review, and recommend us to everyone and anyone you know. Thank you, Jackie, for helping edit the podcast every week. Thank you, Brian, for the art. Alex for the music, and Devin, thank you for being here, even when you're not here. You can find Brian on Instagram at ITZ_ by the way. Alex at Peter's Films. And Devin, you can find him trying to conquer the world.
Yes.
Next week, who knows? We'll find out, but we'll do something fun. And as usual, happy holidays, and put a coat on. It's cold out there.
Yeah, it is actually cold out there.
Yeah,
Put a
now
coat
it's cold.
We love it.
We got a hurricane.
It's cool. It's cool.
Ooh.
You know what? That's a half a point of being whiteness, so now you're at 1 point. You're at 1 full point.
Uh-oh.
All right, listeners, we'll see you next week in another episode of The Fortress of...
Ray who?